Good morning everyone. Today we will go for the anatomy of the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary artery. Okay, can see here in last class we discussed about the internal features of the heart. Now we can go for the anatomy of the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary artery. Pulmonary trunk, it is look like a T shape. You can see here it is look like a T shape. Here also you can say it is a pulmonary trunk. Okay, before that we study about the what is mean by the pulmonary circulation. Okay, in this video you are already seeing that there are two type of the circulations are there. One is systematic circulation, another one is pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary is name, it denotes to the lungs. Okay, the pulmonary circulation, it carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lung and returns oxygenated blood to the lungs to heart. You can see here in this. Okay, this is a lungs and this is a heart, and this is a right pump and this is a left pump. In this you can see the deoxygenated blood from the body or from the systematic circulation, it comes to the right atrium and right ventricle. From the heart it will go to the, these are the pulmonary artery to the lungs, and from the lungs here it takes the gas exchange, and then lungs to it comes to the left atrium and left ventricle to the systematic circulation. First, what is mean by the artery? Artery means which carries the blood from the heart. Okay, here you see here, this is also, it is deoxygenated blood carries the pulmonary trunk or pulmonary artery to the lungs, and here oxygenated blood it is carried by the ascending aorta or artery or aorta. Okay, and deoxygenated blood from body to the heart by the veins. Okay, here pulmonary circulation means it is a circulation between the heart and lungs. Okay, in short, the pulmonary circulation carries the deoxygenated blood away from the heart to the lung and returns oxygenated blood from back to the heart, lungs to back to the heart. The pulmonary circulation is a portion of the circulatory system which carries the deoxygenated blood away from the right ventricle to the lung and returns oxygenated blood to the left atrium and ventricle. Okay, this is say as a pulmonary circulation, and this is the say as a systematic circulation. Pulmonary circulation means this is a circulation between the lungs and heart, and systematic circulation means it is a systematic circulation between the heart to the whole body except the lung. This is say as a systematic circulation. And pulmonary circulation means this is the circulation between the our blood supply and carrying the blood from the heart to the lung and lung to the heart. And systematic circulation means it is from the except lung, it circulate the whole body of the body. Okay, this circulation say as a systematic circulation. Okay, in this you can go where you already know the anatomy of the lung, and in that the functional unit of the lung or pulmonary is alveoli. Alveoli, it is nothing but it is a air sac or site of gas exchange. We already told about the what is a respiratory zone and conducting zone. In this we can see as this is the respiratory zone. In respiratory zone there is involved the alveoli and bronchioles. Okay, bronchioli and alveoli sac. Okay, alveoli, it is site of gas exchange. It is contains the some collagen and elastic fibers. Okay, it contains the alveoli contains some elastic fibers and collagen fibers. The elastic fibers are allowed to stretch and spring back during the inhalation and exhalation of the alveoli, or this elastic sac or its elastic fiber is allowed to alveoli to expand. Okay, this is mainly made by the surfactant. Okay, or surfactant, or it may be by the type 2 cells of the alveoli. Okay, and collagen fibers, it gives the structure or sac like structures of the alveoli. Before that, these alveoli are completely covered by the capillaries, mainly bronchiolar capillaries. Okay, in that may be arteries and may be veins. Here arteries are, this is the artery which takes the or brings the deoxygenated blood to the alveoli from the heart, and this, it is a pulmonary vein, or this capillary, this is a red color, it is a vein. Because anywhere in other body you can say red color is always artery and this color is always vein, but here is opposite. Okay, here red color artery, it is a vein, it carries the oxygenated blood to the alveoli or bronchioles to the lungs by the pulmonary veins. The alveoli are completely covered by the bunch of respective capillaries. Okay, like this capillary network is around the alveoli. Okay, and here you can see this is pulmonary artery or bronchial artery. It divides into capillaries around the alveoli. This artery brings the deoxygenated blood, and this is a vein or capillary vein and bronchial vein, then pulmonary vein. It's brings the oxygenated blood to the heart. Okay, like this. Okay, pulmonary circulation will happen. Pulmonary circulation is nothing but a circulation between the, or it is carries the pulmonary circulation deoxygenated blood away from the heart to the lung and returns the oxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay, can you see here, like this capillaries are surrounds the around the alveoli. Okay, like this is the artery and this is a vein. Okay, like this, these capillaries are around the or surrounds the alveoli. In alveoli there are main 3 structures are there. Okay, and here in this you already studied in the anatomy of the lungs. Okay, here 3 main structures are there. One is type 1 cells, type 2 cells and surfactant. Okay, these are major cells present in the alveoli. In type 1 cells, it is 95% of the alveoli or sac of the alveoli is covered by the type 1 cells. It is covers the 95% of the whole alveoli. And here what you say, the in type 1 cells there is gas exchange was occur. Okay, and most of all gas exchange occur in the type 1 cells. Okay, and this is a type 2 cells. Okay, these type 2 cells secretes the pulmonary surfactant. Okay, and reabsorb the sodium and water presenting fluid in the built of fluid buildup. Okay, surfactant, these type 2 cells are secretes the surfactant. Okay, then what is mean by the surfactant? It is surfactant is very important layer present in the inner surface of the alveoli. Okay, if it is not surfactant works properly, there is maybe not expanding or there is no gas exchange will occur, or if the surfactants layer was disturbed, then there is formation of a, you can say in ARDS diseases. In ARDS diseases means acute respiratory distress syndrome. In there is most of time the surfactants will loss. Okay, then what is mean by the surfactant? Surfactant, the word made by the 2 words. Okay, surface and ant. Okay, the surface denotes the surface active Okay, and ant is agent. The means surface active agent. The surfactants, the word's meaning is the substance which tends to reduce the surface tension of liquid in which any dissolve. Okay, the surfactant means, or you already know the what Nirma or any like that or any detergents or any agents, dissolving agents, okay, or foaming agents. You can already see in the any advertises like that. The surfactant, it is secrete, or this layer is secreted by the type 2 cells. The surfactants are the substance that lowers the surface tension between the liquids, or between the liquid and gas, or between the gas or solids, or between the liquid and gas. The surfactants are lowers the tension surface or surface tension between the two fluids or two substance. Okay, the surfactants, it is a fluid secreted by the type 2 cells of the alveoli that serves to reduce the surface tension of pulmonary fluids. The surfactant contributes to the elastic properties. Already I explained the elastic fibers. Alveoli has the elastic fibers, and that in that surfactant layer contributes to the elastic properties of pulmonary tissue and preventing the alveoli to collapse. Okay, this surfactant, it is prevents to the alveoli from collapsing. Okay, because of the, if this surfactant was destroyed or injured, there is patient suffer from the ARDS, means acute respiratory distress syndromes. Okay, the surfactants, it is a substance, or it is a layer, it is secreted by the type 2 cells, and this surfactant's function is it lowers the surface tension between the gases exchanges, or liquid or gas exchange. Okay, the surfactants may act as a detergents or wetting agent or emulsifier or foaming agents and dispersants. Okay, these surfactant, it is very important substance or layer present in the alveoli. Okay, because of this only they expand or collapsing, or what you can say stretching and spring back mechanism of alveoli depend on this surfactant layer. Okay, here only there is gas exchange will occur. In 95% of all gas exchange occur in between the type 1 cells. Okay, and it is covers the most of all 95% of the whole alveoli, and 5% of alveoli is covered by the type 2 cell. And there is another one type of cell, that is macrocytes. Okay, and this macrocytes function is in the alveoli. This is just phagocytic function, or any foreign body or any infection or any other bodies that is engulfed by these macrocytes present in the alveoli. Okay, now you already we discuss about the what is mean by the pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is nothing but the circulation carries the deoxygenated blood away from the heart to the lungs and returns the oxygenated blood from the heart. And what is the peculiar features of pulmonary circulation? In that you can go for that. Lung is the only organ which receives the entire cardiac output, that is from the right ventricle. Okay, so accommodates the large amount of blood. It is a low pressure and low resistance system, as pulmonary vessels are highly distensible. Okay, this is a peculiar features of the pulmonary circulation. Okay, now we can go for the anatomy of the pulmonary artery and pulmonary trunk. Okay, Before we already discussed why you can go for the this anatomy or pulmonary circulation. We have to understand the what is meant by the pulmonary artery, or it is a pulmonary trunk, and pulmonary trunk is divided into right and left pulmonary artery. Okay, this is a pulmonary trunk. Okay, this is a pulmonary trunk. It goes then divides into left and right pulmonary artery. Okay, this is long elongated structure, you can say it pipe like, and it is as a pulmonary trunk. And this is a, first of all, it is a artery. Okay, pulmonary trunk, it is a artery. It is arise from the right ventricle. See here, this is a right ventricle. In right ventricle, from here it is from the infundibulum of the right ventricle. From infundibulum it is arises or it is separate from the right ventricle by the pulmonary valves. These are the pulmonary valves. Pulmonary valves are the semilunar valve, and it is tricuspid valve. We already explained what is meant by the semilunar valves and what is meant by the bicuspid valves, or what is meant by the arterioventricular valves. Okay, the pulmonary trunk, it is arises from the right ventricle, and it is separates from the right ventricle by the semilunar valves or pulmonary valves. Okay, and it is artery is arise from the right ventricle and receives the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle and delivers it to the lung for the gas exchange to take place. Okay, this pulmonary trunk, it is receives the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle and delivers deoxygenated blood to the lungs for the gas exchange to take place. Okay, and this pulmonary artery, okay, it is 5 centimeter in long. Okay, and it is look like a T shape. You can see here how it is look like, it is T shape. Okay, then this pulmonary trunk, it is located at anteriorly and medially. Okay, this is the right atrium and it is located, this is a pulmonary trunk, it is located anteriorly and medially to the right atrium. It is medial to the right atrium and anterior to the right atrium, and it's continuous upwards. Okay, and overlap, this is the root of the aorta. You can see here, this is the root of aorta. The root of aorta, it arises from the left ventricle. Okay, and it is overlaps the root of the aorta. Okay, or ascending aorta, and passes posteriorly. Okay, and then it goes divides into right and left pulmonary artery. This is what is about pulmonary trunk. This is pulmonary trunk. It is nothing but it is a artery. It is carries the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle, and it separates from the right ventricle by the pulmonary valves. The pulmonary valves, it is present just above the infundibulum of the right ventricle. Okay, and these pulmonary valves are the tricuspid valves, or these are the semilunar valves, and these pulmonary trunk are delivers the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Okay, from the right ventricle for the gas exchange purpose. And this is a pulmonary trunk, it is a artery. It arises from the right ventricle and receives the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricles and delivers deoxygenated blood to the lung for the gas exchange to take place. And this pulmonary trunk is located just anteriorly and medially to the right atrium, and it is overlaps the aorta, root of the aorta and ascending aorta, and goes posteriorly and divides into right and left pulmonary arteries. Okay, and this is pulmonary artery begins as the pulmonary trunk, a thick and short vessels which is separated from the right ventricle by the pulmonary trunks. This is about the pulmonary trunk, and it is 5 centimeter in length and 3 centimeter in width. Here you can go here, you can see here, this is medially to the right atrium and anterior to the right atrium, overlaps the pulmonary, overlaps the ascending aorta and root of the aorta, and goes posteriorly, divides into right and left pulmonary arteries, and each pulmonary artery divides into two branches in the root of the lung or hilum of the lung, and gives the blood supply to the lungs, and these are carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Okay, and for the gas exchange purpose. Okay, this is about pulmonary trunk. Okay, then this is a pulmonary trunk, and pulmonary trunk is completely enclosed by the or covered by the fibrous pericardium, or you can say the parietal pericardium, not a visceral pericardium. This pulmonary trunk is completely covered by the parietal pericardium, or also you can see during the anatomy of the ascending aorta. The ascending aorta, this is aorta, this is ascending aorta, also it is covered by the what pericardium, or it is pulmonary trunk is lies within the pericardium, and this is the wall of the pulmonary trunk or pulmonary artery. It is separates the pulmonary trunk from the right ventricle. This is the right ventricle and this is the right atrium. You can see here the pulmonary trunk, it is present just medial to the, this is the right atrium, just medial to the right atrium and anterior to the right atrium. Okay, and this is pulmonary trunk is completely enclosed by the parietal pericardium. Okay, and length of the pulmonary trunk, it is 5 centimeter and width is 3 centimeter. Okay, the pulmonary trunk is located in the middle mediastinum, enclosed by the enclosed in the pericardium, conveys the deoxygenated blood to the lung. The pulmonary trunk and ascending aorta lies within the fibrous pericardium. The pulmonary arteries receive the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle and delivers it to the lungs for the gas exchange to take place. Then origin of the pulmonary trunk. The pulmonary trunk is about 5 centimeter long, originated from the upper part of the right ventricle in the level of the sternal end of the left third costal cartilage, or you can say as a sternal angle, and just left to the level of the left third costal cartilage. Okay, or at the level of the T4 and T5 thoracic vertebra, and length of the pulmonary trunk is 5 centimeter and width is 3 centimeter. You can see here, this is a right ventricle. Okay, this is the right atrium, and this is the atrioventricular wall or tricapside wall, and this is the right ventricle, and this is the inflow tract, and this is the outlet tract. Inflow tract is irregular because of presence of the papillary muscles, trabecula carini and the chordae tendineae, and here is the absence of the chordae tendineae, papillary muscles and trabecula carini. Because of that, this is say as a infundibulum of the right ventricle, and it is valves of the pulmonary valves, and this is the pulmonary trunk, and it originates from the walls of the pulmonary artery or from the infundibulum of the right ventricle. Okay, and it is 5 centimeter in length and 3 centimeter in width. Okay, and it is present at the level of the sternal end, where the left third costal cartilage is present, at the level of the third costal cartilage. Now we can go for the course of the pulmonary trunk. After arising from the infundibulum of the infundibulum in the middle mediastinum, it enters backwards and to the left and end below the arch of aorta and in front of the left pericardial left principal bronchus by dividing into left and right pulmonary artery at the level of the T5 and T6. Okay, it is arises from the infundibulum of the right ventricle, and it is first anteriorly, it is moves or ascends upwards according to the ascending aorta. Okay, and it is goes upwards. Okay, continues upwards, overlaps the root of ascending aorta and passes posteriorly. Then where it is enters backwards and to the left and ends below the arch of aorta and in front of left principal bronchus. Is here it is a left principal bronchus. Here it is divides into the left and right pulmonary arteries, and this is the level of the T5 and T6. You already know the where the trachea is divided into right and left bronchus at the level of the T4 or T5, or carina at the level of the carina, that is nothing but at the level of the T4 and T5, or at the level of the sternum angle. Okay, just below that we can, or where the left bronchus is there, in front of left bronchus, the pulmonary trunk is divided into right and left pulmonary artery. This is about the course of the pulmonary trunk. Then relationship, already I will explain. You can see here. Okay, at the right side, right atrium and ascending aorta. To the left, it is a left atrium. This is a pulmonary trunk. Okay, sometimes the left atrium, it encloses the or covers the pulmonary trunk, and it overlaps the, here you can see it is overlaps the root of the pulmonary ascending aorta, or root of the aorta. Okay, and posteriorly root of the ascending aorta. Okay, or root of the aorta. Okay, and superiorly arch of aorta in front, and just below that you can see the or posteriorly pulmonary veins or descending aorta are present. You can go for the relationship. Anteriorly, sternal end of the left, second intercostal space, left lung and pleura. Okay, or you can, it is present pulmonary trunk present or enclosed by the complete by the parietal pericardium, or what are the relations are present to the parietal pericardium anteriorly? All relations are present to the anterior. And posteriorly ascending aorta. Okay, and left coronary artery. Okay, and transverse sinus of the pericardium. To the right, ascending aorta, origin of the right coronary artery and right auricle or right atrium. Okay, to the left, left auricle and left coronary artery. You can see here, this is the coronary sinus, this is the auricle of the right atrium, the left atrium. Okay, this is the left coronary artery, and this is the right coronary artery. Okay, and this is ascending aorta. Posteriorly you can see the descending aorta. Okay, it also overlaps like this is also relationship. Okay, to the right side ascending aorta, posteriorly descending aorta, and this is the root of it, overlap the root of aorta. To the right atrium or right auricle. To the left auricle or left atrium. Okay, and superiorly arch of aorta. And just that superiorly or just beyond the arch of aorta, there is a bifurcation of the left bronchus and right bronchus. Here we can go for the branches of the pulmonary trunk. At the level of the T5, there is two branches are there. There is right branch and left branch of the pulmonary trunk, as a right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. Okay, the right pulmonary artery, it is longer and wider compared to the right pulmonary artery. It is longer and wider, and left pulmonary artery it is shorter and narrower. Because it is shorter, the heart is present just left to the midline. Because of that, this is shorter and longer, narrower, and right pulmonary artery it is longer and wider, because the heart is present just left to the midline of the body. Okay, and this right artery, okay, right pulmonary artery, it passes behind the ascending aorta. You can see here, this is ascending aorta. Just behind that it is passes ascending aorta and superior vena cava. This is the superior vena cava and this is the ascending aorta. Okay, then passes in front of the right bronchus. Okay, here the trachea, and here you can see the right bronchus like that. Okay, it passes behind the in front of the right bronchus to reach the hilum of the right lung. And the left, okay, left pulmonary artery, it is shorter and narrower. This is passes along the border of the left atrium. Okay, this is the left atrium, it is passes along the left atrium, then passes in the front of the left bronchus. You can see here, in here left bronchus, you can see here it is a left bronchus, and then descending aorta to reach the root of the lung. Okay, this is the right pulmonary and this is the left pulmonary. Okay, you can see here in easily, this is the right pulmonary artery and this is the left pulmonary, and both pulmonary arteries are reaches or ends as a dividing into two branches in the at the level of the hilum of the lung. And right pulmonary artery divide into two branch and enters as a in the right lung, and left pulmonary artery also it is divided into two branches and enters into the hilum of the left lung. Here you can see the right pulmonary artery, it is passes behind the ascending aorta. This is the ascending aorta, behind the ascending aorta and superior vena cava. Then it passes into the in front of the right bronchus of the principal bronchus of the trachea or bronchus. Okay, to reach the hilum to the right lung. On the left atrium, it is passes along the upper border of the right atrium, left atrium. You can see here, this is first, it is forms the upper border of the left atrium, then it is goes then it passes in front of the left bronchus, and then the as a descending aorta to reach the left root of the lung by dividing the two branches. This is about right pulmonary artery and this is about left pulmonary artery. Then branches of the pulmonary trunk. The pulmonary trunk is a branches as a left and right pulmonary artery. The right pulmonary artery is larger compared to the left and is located somewhat at the lower level. The right and left pulmonary artery lies along the upper border of the right and left atrium of the upper, and the upper pulmonary veins like to transverse the pieces as a letter as a T. Now the differentiation between the right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. Right pulmonary artery is longer and shorter. Because right pulmonary artery is longer, because the heart is situated just slight left side to the midline, and it is wider and it is narrower. It is passes behind the ascending aorta, then the superior vena cava, passes along the upper border of the left atrium, then it passes in front of the right bronchus to reach the hilum of the right lung. It passes in front of the left bronchus and the descending aorta to reach the root of the left lung. This is the difference between the pulmonary right and left pulmonary artery. Now we can go for the applied anatomy of the pulmonary artery or the pulmonary trunk. Okay, this is during the some diseases we are catheterize the pulmonary artery to measure the pressure of the pulmonary artery, or in the pulmonary hypertension we measure the pressure of the pulmonary artery, because of that can catheterize. This is the one of the applied anatomy of the pulmonary trunk. Now, different aspects of the cardiopulmonary diseases or functions are monitored by the cardiologist by the pulmonary artery catheterization. The catheterization is passes successfully as follows: internal jugular vein or subclavian vein to right atrium to the right ventricle to the pulmonary trunk and to the pulmonary artery. Like that, we are catheterizes the pulmonary artery. By that, we maintain the or measure the pulmonary pressure. Okay, or any suctions to the pulmonary artery or any thrombosis are there, you can remove by that. A sudden occlusion of the pulmonary trunk by an embolus may be the squeal to the thrombosis is deep vein of the calf muscle or deep vein thrombosis, and the block the complete and death ensure rapidly. It is about the embolism or pulmonary embolism. Okay, this is the sign of the pulmonary embolism in the X-ray. Okay, it is say as a palm sign. Okay, you can see here. This is the one sign, like you can see, okay, sign. Okay, this is nothing. Palm sign means this is denotes the enlarged right descending pulmonary artery, because there is why it is enlarged at the pulmonary embolism. There is a embolism means clot or thrombosis in the pulmonary artery that enlarges the right descending pulmonary artery, and that gives the pulse signs. Pulse means it is look like a swage. Okay, swage like, or any cloths or in old Romans they are wraps the cloths around the neck. Okay, that look like that. Okay, pulse means it is sausage like structure. You can see here it is sausage like structure. You can see this is say as a pulmonary embolism. Okay, this is the example for the pulmonary embolism. This is the deep vein thrombosis, means the only in deep vein thrombosis or deep vessels or deep veins presence in the, it may be in the thigh. Okay, or it may be in the abdomen, or it may be in the thorax. Any thrombosis in the deep veins. Okay, that causes the thrombosis to the lung. These thrombosis came from the deep veins of the thigh to the inferior vena cava to the right lung to the right ventricle, right one to the pulmonary trunk to the pulmonary artery. In pulmonary artery, they got stuck and forms the blocks the blood vessels, or block the vessels, and that forms the pulmonary hypertension or pulmonary cardiopulmonary symptoms, that is say as a pulmonary embolism. Okay, this is here is the deep vein present in the thigh, goes like that and forms this deep vein thrombosis, or it is say as a DVT. It may be in the thigh, it may be in the calf, or it may be in the thorax or abdomen or abdominal inferior vena cava. Okay, anywhere in the deep veins. Mainly deep veins are as compared to the superficial veins, deep veins are more larger and more wider than the superficial veins. Because of that, most of time these deep veins are produce the big clots. Okay, and that big clots convert as a deep vein thrombosis, and these thrombosis goes and stuck in the pulmonary artery and forms the pulmonary embolism. This is an example of the then pulmonary hypertension. The pulmonary hypertension, there is in the hypertension or atherosclerosis or narrowing of the pulmonary arteries that cause the increase the blood pressure in the pulmonary vessels, and that is called as a pulmonary hypertension, and pulmonary hypertension may cause the breathlessness. Okay, this is about the pulmonary hypertension. This is also one of the applied anatomy of the pulmonary trunk or pulmonary arteries. Okay, then we can go for the core pulmonary. Core pulmonary, it is a disease. It involves the two things. Okay, you can see here the core pulmonary. Core means cardiac, pulmonary means lungs. It denotes the two diseases. Okay, in that two organs are involved. Okay, one is cardiac, another one is pulmonary. In COPD cases, most of chronic COPD cases, COPD means it may be chronic bronchitis or bronchitis, bronchiectasis, or pulmonary embolism, pulmonary embolisms, or any what you can say bronchial emphysema or empyema, or any pneumothorax. In there any chronic COPD cases, there may be or not proper function of the lungs. Because of that, there what happens, there is increase in the pressure in the pulmonary artery, that increase the pressure in the pulmonary trunk, and that increased pressure forms the dilatation of the right ventricle, and that dilatation increase into the ventricle, increase into dilatation of the right atrium, or there is involvement of disease in between the tooth, on the heart and another one is lung. Okay, or in core pulmonary, in that involves the both the organs, one is heart, another one is lungs. And in core pulmonary, there is a enlargement of the pulmonary trunk also, pulmonary artery also, and there is a pulmonary ventricle. Because of that, backflow. Okay, or there is increased backflow pressure. Because of that, enlargement of the right side heart. Okay, because of right side heart, there may be increased pressure in the right ventricle, right atrium, and that into superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Because of that, there may be sometimes there is hepatomegaly, and because of that may be ascites or pedal edema also is there. This core pulmonary. In that, this core pulmonary or right-sided heart failure is an enlargement of the right ventricle due to the high blood pressure in the lungs, usually caused by the chronic lung diseases. Then there is the patent ductus arteriosus, means it is an anomaly or it is fetal. During fetal circulation, there is one duct is there that connects the arch of aorta and the pulmonary trunk. Okay, during fetal life. After fetal life, this is all dissolve, or this arteriosus is closed, but sometimes it is patent. Okay, this is also one of the type of the applied anatomy of the pulmonary trunk. In there, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated bloods are mixed together. Okay, that is as a patent ductus arteriosus. There is another one anomalies of the pulmonary trunk. In that, you can see here left pulmonary artery, it is wraps the trachea behind, or it may be further. So many pulmonary anomalies are there, or sometimes the left pulmonary artery, it is present so left to the left principal bronchus, or right pulmonary artery is sometimes it wraps the posteriorly wraps by the trachea. These are the some anomalies of the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary artery. Here is another one anomaly. Most of time coronary artery arise from the base or root of the ascending aorta. I can see here these are the right coronary artery and these are left coronary. Right coronary artery arises from the right coronary cups, and left coronary artery arises from the left coronary cup. And sometimes what happen, there is right coronary arteries arise from the right coronary sinus, but left coronary artery it is arise from the pulmonary trunk or root of the pulmonary trunk, or just above the valves of the pulmonary trunk. That's why this artery gives the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Okay, this is also one the type of the anomalies of the pulmonary artery or pulmonary trunk. Thank you very much.